All right, guys, I had a bunch of you comment down below asking questions about my first ever custom rifle build. So today what we're gonna do is a deep dive for you guys and give you the full insight on this rifle. Just want to give a big shout out to Thad Peterson with Peterson Customs in Ecom, Idaho. He's the one who built this rifle for me. You guys can check him out on Instagram if you guys are looking to have a rifle built. He does a lot of awesome work for me. You guys should check it out. Now on to the breakdown. All right, guys, running tip to base. We're starting off with my Omega 300 suppressor. I will be putting the Nomad TI back on here. I just have this on here right now kind of as a thread protector, if that isn't funny enough. If you guys like this kind of content, we got a lot of awesome stuff coming down the pipeline. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. I'd greatly appreciate it. So I went with this barrel contour also to go as thin as I could. So Thad Peterson had to cut this 1/2 by 28. Then he built an adapter himself to throw it on there. That's something that he can also do for you guys. Next is the barrel, and I'm gonna give you guys a full disclosure on this one. This is a Brux 28-inch number 4, and of course Brux has you cut an inch off, so it's a full length 27-inch barrel. Now you guys might be asking, why did I go with a Brux? And I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. The reason I went with Brux is because of Eric Cortina, and I know a lot of barrels are awesome. My buddy's actually running a preferred barrel on his 28 Sherman and having pretty good luck with that. I honestly don't think that you can really go wrong in this day and age with barrels. I mean, I think you have to be competitive in order to be a good barrel maker right now. But just wanted to be 100% honest with you guys. I went with this barrel because that's what Eric Cortina shoots in competition. So for my first build, I kind of thought I'd go all out on it. All right, guys, forgot to mention I had this barrel deep fluted in order to save as much weight as possible. And this rifle came out to roughly about 6 pounds, all said and done, full build. Okay, going down the ladder now to action. I went with a pure precision skeletonized stainless steel. Now, the reason I ended up going with stainless steel is it's super light, and honestly I just didn't really want to pay that titanium price. Now, full disclosure on this, the reason why I went with a pure precision is because I believe Alex Wheeler had a hand in redesigning these actions, so that's kind of why I went with that. My buddy is friends with Alex and has a lot of stuff built from him. Now on to stock. I went with a Peak 44, I believe, Bastion stock. The reason I went with this one is just because of how lightweight it is. It was kind of a Hail Mary. I never got to put my hands on one of these, this style of their stock. I do have one of their other stocks. And as you can see, with that other stock and this stock, my biggest gripe is that recoil pad. I just have a limb saver thrown over the side of it, which really drives me nuts, kind of adds the length of pull. But that hex, whatever they have on there, is just absolute trash, and I can't stand it. But one thing I do like about this is the pistol grip. I don't have the biggest hands, so a lot of these pistol style drop grips are super wide for big-handed guys. I really kind of like how narrow this is, so I am enjoying that. I did not quite get the camo pattern I wanted, but I got a pretty good deal on it, so that's why I went with that one. Guys, I know you can't see it, but internally we went with a Wyatt's box for the inside of this rifle, and I can't remember what number that is, to be honest with you. Then the drop floor plate is Grable and bottom metal. I haven't ever used Grable before, but I'm really enjoying this so far. I really like where this detaches right here in front. I kind of like that so far. Now for the trigger, I went with a flat 2-stage Trigger Tech trigger. I just kind of wanted to try something different. I think with all my years of shooting Savage and having that that safety, it's kind of like a 2-stage. I really enjoy the 2-stage. I think there's a mental aspect about it where it gives you a moment of, okay, here we go, now we're into it. And I really enjoy that on my triggers. I am really enjoying this flat base so far, and I'll probably do a lot more of those in the future. I topped this with a pure base. That was about the only one I could find. It's kind of got some interesting screw holes. It's a stiller, which is kind of hard to find. Just so you guys know, you might just want to get your base from Pure Precision. That's where I got mine. Then I topped it with Leupold Mark IV, I believe, rings. The reason I went with that, and the reason why I went with this Trijicon Credo 2.5 to 15 is honestly because of Forum on Rock Slide. I really like what that guy has to say about scope mounts and scopes. I'm not out here trying to bash other scopes, but when it comes to scopes that work, I want that. So I went off his recommendation on this Credo. I'm not sure they did a review on this one or not, but he gave pretty good raves on all the Trijicon family. It is a second focal plane, which I know a lot of you guys are anti-second focal plane, but I'm really enjoying that reticle not changing sizes, especially for bear country where I really wanted to go as low as I could. That's why I went with that 2.5. I just wanted it in case I had an encounter with a bear that I needed that lower end to use my rifle. And I wanted enough on the high end, which I feel like 15 will give me, to reach out there. That's the reason why I went with that scope. All right, as I'm sure you guys saw from the title, I went with the 28 Sherman. And I'm sure you guys are all wondering why I did that. Why didn't I go with the hot new 7 PRC or 7 backcountry? Honestly, it's all based off ballistics for me. Now, there was one other cartridge that had this beat. It was the 30-378 Weatherby Magnum. And I was looking at like a 245 to 250 grain bullet. But the only issue with that was I was going to have to go with like a 30 to 32 inch barrel, and it was going to get really long and really heavy. The other thing is that bolt face. You can't really do a whole lot with that if you decide you don't like that. So the next best thing I could come up with was this 28 Sherman Magnum. Now, I know a lot of guys are going the opposite route, and I understand that. I probably shouldn't have built this rifle as light as I did. That's my own preference. I do think for a rifle and a cartridge like this, you should have a little bit more weight. But honestly, I went with this with a 195 to a 195 Burger to a 175 Sierra. I'm really just trying to capitalize on the ballistics. I think you could even get away with a 190 Burger. My buddy's shooting that. The BC on that's pretty impressive. What I don't think a lot of these gun reviewers and ballistic guys are really talking about, and it kind of irks me, is what's more important, the velocity on these rifles, which we can average the velocity and you have a pretty linear graph on what that bullet's going to do, or your next best friend, the wind. Now, that's why I really went with this 28 Sherman and the bullets I'm going with. We might put a Band-Aid on this, give it the old I can't think of it right now, sorry. We might put a nose ring on this bullet to help with it opening up from David Tubb. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I'm going to test that. My buddy's already started testing that on some bullets with rock chucks. He had some target bullets that were pinholing right through them. He put that nose ring on them from David Tubb, and he said it's opened up every time now. It's just blowing up rock chucks. So I might go that route, but honestly, I over-exaggerated my velocity when I was attempting to calculate which cartridge I wanted. I was hoping to get a 190 to about 3,300 feet per second, which I know is screaming fast, but I don't think I'm quite going to get it that far. I'm actually getting this 197 to 3113-ish right now, I believe, or 3150. I'm really trying to get to that higher mark. Again, I haven't settled on if I'm going to go the speed route or accuracy. Looked like we had a pretty good node around that 3,050 feet per second mark. So we might end up backing back down to there. If you guys like this kind of content, we got a lot of awesome stuff coming down the pipeline. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. I'd greatly appreciate it.